I think one thing that audiophiles can all agree on is that there are a lot of solid-state integrated amplifiers available on the market at pretty much every price point, so standing out is very difficult. And I've been lucky to look at a lot of the industry's finest integrated amplifiers from the likes of Luxman, Griffin, Macintosh, Mark Levinson, Musical Fidelity, Nagra, and more. And those are all brand names that you know and are very familiar with. But what about Kinki Studio? Is that a brand that you are aware of and familiar with? And does it really matter? I don't think so, not when the amplifier is as good as the EX-M1 Plus at its price point. And I can think of maybe 2 or 3 reasons why you wouldn't buy one, but I can think of at least 10 good reasons why you would. Kinki Studio is a brand name that you might be familiar with because of other YouTube channels, and I remember New Record Days Ron making a big song and dance about their products a while back, and I've been keen and interested to spend some time with them ever since. It was back at the end of last year when I started the review of the Kinki Studio EX-M1 Plus, and it made a big impression on me straight away for its clean, composed, smooth sound that seemed exceptionally good for the money, especially when I compared it to the much more expensive Kerry Audio 300.2D. And interestingly, I'm finishing the review in pretty much the same place where I started. But I need to be really careful here not to give you the wrong impression, because I really like this amplifier, I really like it. But my first and then lasting impression of it is that, yeah, I really like it, but I think I would like a bigger one much more. The EX-M1 Plus is Kinki Studio's current flagship integrated amplifier, and it's just an integrated amplifier. So no DAC, no streamer, no phono stage or anything else, which may be seen as a negative by some, which is totally understandable given, what people are used to, I suppose, these days, and the expectations from a lot of manufacturers who are chucking literally everything and the kitchen sink into amplifiers. But I actually see an amplifier as being just an amplifier, as a positive more than a negative. Kinki Studio also sell the EX-M1 Non-Plus model, which I think is a similar amplifier, but it's missing a few features that could be really important to you, such as a dimmable display, a home theatre bypass mode. Probably more interesting is the amplifier's ability to actually disable the amplifier output and use the M1 Plus purely as a preamplifier, which I really like because it will allow your system to grow with more power, bigger power amplifiers, but you'll be able to continue to use what you already own and obviously already like the sound of. You can also select to use the preamplifier outputs to create a line level connection for subwoofers. And there are 3 selectable modes accessed by pressing the power button that is hidden underneath the front panel. The EX-M1 Plus costs $2,898 and is available directly from Kinki Studios, with the Non-Plus model costing about $500 less. Winding back for a minute, the M1 Plus is a dual mono designed integrated amplifier with 215 watts of power per channel into 8 ohms and 290 into 4 ohms. It's solid and feels exceptionally well put together, and it's heavy at 25 kilograms. I also really like the display. It's clear, easy to see at a distance, and I think it's perfect for the job really. I also really like the rear layout and quality of the connections used. I like the fact that the power inlet is very much separated from the analog and speaker cable connections in the main, and it's a Furatech inlet. On the rear are the only 2 other options you will have to think about. There is the choice to float the ground or not, and to engage a DC on mains filtering circuit or not. I even like the resistance of the knobs on the front and their size. Who doesn't enjoy playing with a big knob? Well, if you don't, the remote control is a nice metal design. It's simple and easy to use, and I like the fact that the volume buttons are different, so you can easily access them even after you've had too much to drink. But of course, you want to know about the sound quality of the amplifier. and there has been some distinct sonic characteristics that I have been really enjoying about its sound that's carried over across multiple different speakers that I've tested it with, and those speakers range from about £250 all the way up to about £20,000. For me, the big sonic trait that I really liked about this amplifier is its soundstage, the depth and openness. It's outstanding. And this trait has been present for every set of speakers I have listened to. They have all sounded three-dimensional. You see through the speakers onto the music, which is always, I think, very impressive. But it did obviously depend, or the quality of that varies depending on the quality and capability of the speakers. And there has been excellent width to the soundstage too. And it's a very organised, well-defined, and you know where everything is type of soundstage. There is no blurring of the lines between instruments or musical elements. And the background seems really dark because there is so much space. The M1 Plus achieves this by sounding extremely clean and extremely composed. Music has a fantastic sense of organisation and control, even when the music becomes very complex. And I found that meant that the amplifier made it easy to sit and listen to a whole variety of music because you're not really having to strain or overly concentrate on where everything is. Everything's just nicely organised and laid out, and just makes it easy to sit and listen to, especially when there's a lot of stuff going on. And that is because the amplifier has excellent timing and excellent transient delivery. And the treble is smooth and detailed overall. The vocals are rendered with, again, nice control and composure with a good amount of tonality. The bass is tight and controlled in the main, but at times I have found myself wanting a bit more bass authority, maybe a bit more bass power with certain speakers. But do remember, I am a really greedy audiophile in that regard, and do really like a good amount of bass in my music. I found the M1 Plus to have a reserved and quite laid back sound, or set back sound overall or in general, but it is very tensions free. It's a smooth and clean and graceful sound, favouring soundstage clarity through control and composure over making music have more excitement, energy, boldness or tonality. And that meant that I probably turned the volume up just a little bit more to try and get a little bit more excitement out of some of the speakers that I was listening to. But I generally listen louder anyways. And that was absolutely fine, because you can turn the volume up and really push some power through the system or through the speakers. But there was a ceiling point. I also feel like there could have been maybe some more tonality to the sound, but I can also appreciate what Kinki Studio have done here with the EX-M1 Plus. They've really tried to balance its sound, paying attention to all the important sonic characteristics, and have done a good job of all of them, making sure, or I think trying to retain that fantastic sense of openness, that sense of space, that really three-dimensional soundstage. However, this is where it can get really interesting, because using the M1 Plus with the Dynaudio Emit 30, that pairing had loads of energy combined with composure and control and a really great and solid bass. Hence me saying in the speakers review, this is a great pairing, and I'm sure the Dynaudio Evoke speaker range will be just the same. But using the M1 Plus with both the DACs I and Mission 770, the composure was there, the soundstage was there, great vocals, great treble actually for both of these speakers. But I did find myself just wanting some more authority, more control and some more grunt to the sound, most notably again in the bass. But like I said, I need to be careful here, because the best integrated amplifier that I have reviewed so far has been the German Physics Emperor, which costs around £33,000. So it's not a comparable amplifier here at all. But what's interesting is the EX-M1 Plus actually reminded me of the German Physics Emperor, just in terms of how it sounds, that clean and composed sound. And really, I think the bit that reminded me of it the most was the fact that I can tell that this is an amplifier that's designed to try and get out of the way as much as possible, out of the way of the music, so that again you can hear this wonderful, excellent three-dimensional soundstage. I also really enjoyed the DACs I's sense of accuracy and precision being powered from the M1 Plus. And I really enjoyed the treble and soundstage from the Mission 770. Again, that was awesome when being powered from the M1 Plus. So I think both of these speakers have been able to show me what's great and show me the real strengths of the EX-M1 Plus amplifier, while also showing me the limits of the amplifier, which is totally fine, totally understandable and expected with speakers at that quality and obvious price points. And I confirmed this by doing a listening comparison with the Lima Acoustics Tucana 2 Anniversary, which costs about double that of the M1 Plus. And it was a clear night and day difference in terms of the amplifier's designed sounds. The M1 Plus sounded more relaxed, more easygoing, with more perceived depth to the soundstage and more space in the soundstage, whereas the Lima sounded bigger, bolder, richer, more immediate and upfront, with more authority in the bass, but not as open or as tensions free. So I found myself liking both amplifiers for different reasons, or maybe that I was just hearing different, strengths or sonic characteristics or good points of the Mission 770 speakers. And really, both amplifiers were presenting the same music, just in a different way, in a slightly different way, and I could enjoy both of them. But I'm sure you're sitting there thinking, well, how do we get the best of both? And I know that because that's exactly what I was thinking. And all I'll say is hold that thought. I think a hi-fi with a great soundstage is always great to listen to. And yes, I feel like I found the M1 Plus's limits. And that is the only reason why I said that I really like this amplifier, but I'd likely like a bigger one more. And what's interesting about that is looking at the Kinki Studio website, they have some very interesting, what look like larger power amplifiers and some interesting design preamplifiers. And the reason that's interesting is because I wonder if that would give us that perfect combination that I mentioned before. So hopefully at some point in the future, I'll get to look at more products from them, but you do have to factor in if you step up to that preamp power level, obviously the cost is going to go up too. And I'm sitting here thinking that at nearly $3,000, the M1 Plus is likely to be an aspirational amplifier for a lot of audiophiles. And I actually can't sit here and justify value for you. But I can sit here and say that I think that the EX-M1 Plus has excellent build quality, excellent sound quality at a good price. And I actually think for the price, it actually offers exceptional value for money. And it's an easy one for me to recommend. Yes, it's not perfect, and it's also not a hi-fi amplifier Swiss Army knife with everything thrown into the one box. It's just an integrated amplifier. But it is a really cracking integrated amplifier that I have really enjoyed listening to. So I hope you've enjoyed this review. I hope you found it useful and helpful. If you did, hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to the Pursuit of Perfect System YouTube channel. If you haven't already, of course you have. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.